Hi everybody, it's Cindy from Ideas Times 2. Welcome back to our channel. Today I'm working on a project for school. I know I've mentioned before that I'm a teacher, but even with 25 years of experience, I'm still expected to be taking classes. And so this semester I'm taking a class on gifted education, and that's what I teach. I teach gifted students. And I have a project due on Monday, and we were given some latitude on what we wanted to do for our project, and so I decided I wanted to make a book. And my thesis is that Frankenstein's monster, I prefer to call him creature, is gifted, intellectually gifted. And so I'm making a concept journal from the creature's point of view to prove my point. And so I've started, well, it's due on Monday, so I have started. I've done lots of research, done lots of reading, and have been working on my project, and am over half done with the inside of the journal. And so I thought today, while I'm working, I'd turn the camera on and we could maybe make some ephemera together. And I'll show you what I've got done. And here's my book cover, although I have to redo the spine because this is definitely not going to be wide enough. But I have gutted the book, and I have 2 signatures finished, and the insides are full of ephemera, and I did a lot of sewing, a lot of stitching, kind of to go with my Frankenstein theme. And so I'm not going to flip through the whole thing, but you can see I'm keeping it in the format of kind of a standard junk journal. But then throughout the book, I have quotes and things that the creature has said, kind of to prove my thesis. And I'll be presenting on Monday via video to prove my point. So the journal is kind of dark, kind of, and I would say more gender neutral. I'm trying not to do a very feminine journal for obvious reasons, or anything too masculine. But the creature is very sensitive, loves nature, and appreciates beauty, and so I'm kind of going with that vibe. So this is the signature. I haven't even started yet. I've put it together, but there's nothing on the inside at this point. And this one is about half done. And you know, I've got a pretty good selection. This is really tight in there. I might have to fix that. Of things going on. And everything I've put in here so far, I've sewn into the journal. And you know, keeping with my theme, Frankenstein was stitched, Frankenstein's monster, Frankenstein's creature, was stitched together with all sorts of different body parts. And so my journal is all stitched together in kind of the same fashion. So I kind of left it, well, what I was thinking of was here, of putting some kind of a quote, and that's where I left it, unless it was on the other side. So I'm putting a lot of quotes in the journal, some that I'm handwriting, but I'm having issues with my fountain pen. It's kind of clogged up. But I also have a stack of papers and whatnot that I may turn into ephemera, so I have that kind of on standby. And I typed up some quotes as well and coffee stained the paper, and these are all things that I want to incorporate in the book as well. And some of Tracy Fox's tags, and I've already, you know, coffee stained some tags and envelopes and things that I might want to put in. but I still need to make a ton of ephemera. And I thought we'd have maybe some fun together working on that today. So move my stack a little bit out of the way. And I think this might actually be enough. Maybe I'll flip to the other side. And I just love this paper. My sister made this and sent me this in some Happy Mail the other day. And it's a pretty color, but it's kind of maybe needs a little something else. Move that off to the side. I'm an English teacher, and a lot of my journals have quotes and things from books, and I like to use, you know, lots of book pages, and you know, I have students, when I tell them what I do in my spare time, kind of freak out when I say that I take books apart and put them back together. You know, there are definitely different attitudes towards books, and books are my favorite thing. Reading is literally my favorite thing to do. And I don't like the idea of censoring or banning. Definitely can't fathom burning books. But when a book is falling apart, it is better, in my opinion, to reuse, to recycle, upcycle, rather than throwing it away. All right, I don't know if it needs anything more than just the quote. I think that's awfully pretty on there by itself. Such great color combination. I've got this little paper scrap that maybe can go on here. Got some lace and fabric scraps laying around too. Maybe I'll include something from there. I like that by itself. I like this by itself. I don't like those together. Maybe that's all it needs, and then if I sew around it, give it a little bit more character. Been wanting to make a journal, a Frankenstein journal, for a long time, and I've been collecting and curating elements for it, and just kind of, because it's not quite my normal, in some ways it's very much my normal style, but my journals are generally more feminine than this one, and so I was really worried that I was really worried about this one. And so I kept putting it off and putting it off. And when we had to do this project, I decided, you know what, I'm just going to go for it. that it's time to do something with this book. So let's see. So that's just simple, because this journal really is about the book and it's about the character. I want to include a lot of quotes, and so I've got another one here. And this page obviously needs something on it. It's very plain. And let's see. Maybe I'll just do a simple pocket. Maybe out of an index card. Do I have any index cards? Let's see what I've got in here. I know a lot of people worry about, and I'm one of them, worry about organizing their craft supplies and whatnot. And this little container you might recognize had lunch meat in it, and I don't like to throw them away. They're the perfect size. Look how perfect that is. And I've got 2, 4, 6, 7 of them with junk journaling supplies, playing cards and index cards and clothing tags and all sorts of stuff. So that's my tip, my organizing tip for the day. And so I think having a little index card on here would be good. And of course we'll embellish that. Excuse my reach. Hopefully that did not I just didn't flash the camera. And put that there, add a little more ink. And this is just coffee stained, but I have no idea what that dark mark is, but I think it's great. When I wrote the project proposal for the journal, I suggested that I found the creature's journal in my attic when I was cleaning. So everything in this book is pretty grungy, super grungy, as a matter of fact. All right, maybe I'll do a strip of green. And keep these 2 pages coordinated. I'm almost out. This is all I have left of that wonderful paper. I will glue that on and then stitch it on and then stitch, stitch, stitch. I've been doing everything in this book is sewn. Kind of like Frankenstein's creature. I haven't made any Franken paper though. That's still kind of on my to-do list for today, is to add, to make some Franken paper. Hope everybody's doing well today. It's finally the weekend. This was a long week. But next week is Thanksgiving, so we have school only 2 days next week. I did not do a very good job of gluing these together. There we go. And then I'll sew this on here. onto that for something else. And obviously it needs a little more. Is everybody busy at work with Christmas projects? I haven't even started anything for Christmas. I've been working on other, well, trying to keep my head above water at work. And school has changed a little bit this year. So it's been a little harder, a little more stressful. Okay, that's a good start. That's all it is, unfortunately, is a start. While I think on that, I would like to, I have this card. It was, I don't know, in some ephemera pack that I got, and I like the front. I think it's, or well, the side. I don't know which is the front and which is the back, but I really like this side. It's kind of, you know, dark, gloomy, but the back, I don't think the bicycle is appropriate for this project, and so I want to add something to the back, maybe embellish the front a little bit. I'm calling this the back because this is the side I prefer, and maybe I'll just put some paper on here. Some coffee stained paper, cover that up. And maybe add some washi or some fabric, and then maybe add a little something to the front. Maybe a little cluster or something. FedEx guy is parked in front of my house. I think my order of Fabri-Tac is here. Yeah, I used to get my Fabri-Tac at Hobby Lobby, but they don't carry it anymore. So I usually get it from Walmart now, which is actually okay because Walmart is like $5 a bottle cheaper than Hobby Lobby. And let's see. I have some washi, and this is just a set of Tim Holtz washis. I think maybe I'll go with that one. And I've been using the same set through all the signatures, trying to keep everything consistent and on theme. Now, even though I'm putting a lot of embellishments in the journal, I'm keeping the embellishments fairly simple. After all, if this was the creature's journal, I don't think he would be doing a whole lot of layering and collaging and whatnot, but I wanted to include some for sure. And as soon as the glue is dry, I'm going to go ahead and do some sewing on both this and the pocket. Oh, there it is. I was looking for the cover to my glue. I lose them all the time. And so when I throw my bottles away, I always keep the caps so that when I lose them in another bottle, I always have replacements. Okay. Let's see, what do I have? What do I have? Use some wax paper. Maybe I'll put that on here. I've been using a lot of just plain old canvas, and some of it I've coffee stained, some of it I've inked, some of it I've left just plain. But kind of thinking, you know, with a concept journal, you kind of need to put yourself in the mind of your character. And I figured, obviously, the creature's not going to have a Hobby Lobby or a Joann's or Tuesday morning in the neighborhood, so he's going to need, you know, he's going to put in his journal the things he has. I recently bought a botanical book, and in the pages of the botanical were dried flowers, some dried leaves, a 4-leaf clover, and I want to include those in this journal, but I have not figured out how I want to incorporate them. I don't know if you have any ideas for what might work. You know, I thought about, you know, like when we're in elementary school and we collect the fall leaves and iron them between 2 sheets of wax paper, you know, like we did to make Thanksgiving placemats. I was thinking maybe I could do something like that, or specimen cards. I'm kind of leaning towards the specimen cards. That's probably what I should be making with you guys on camera, since this basically is just a craft with me, hanging out while I craft. I didn't have time to do a tutorial this week, but I didn't want to go a week without filming either. So yeah, we're at almost 30 minutes and I haven't made a whole lot other than a pocket and a card. And let's see, could use something else, maybe maybe one of these. I really like these ones with the handwriting on them for this journal, since it is the character, you know, the book was written, Frankenstein was written in 1818, but it's actually set in the 18th century in an undisclosed year, 1700 something. So in the book I've included lots of German, since the book is takes place in Ingolstadt, well, and lots of other places. The book, the setting changes a lot in the book. Actually, maybe before I put that on, I should. Okay, so do I want it on the right side to balance the left, or do I want it all on the left? Definitely not that. Horizontal, I like better. Normally I would put it over here to balance, but I kind of like it over on this side, having everything over on that side, which is what I think I'm going to do. You know, that FedEx truck is still sitting in front of my house. I saw the driver get out. I don't know where he went though. It's a little creepy. Let's see. A little bit of glue. A little glue seepage. Yeah, I think that's good. Kind of keeps in the style that I've already got going in there, and then I'll just sew around the outside, do maybe some extra lines, some zigzagging, and when that glue dries I will do that. I've got a little stack over here of things that are of things that need to be sewn. I also want to do a pocket flip or an envelope flip. In the back of the journal I'm going to do a more complicated flip, but I want to have one inside the book as well. And so I think this needs to be embellished. And I think I'm going to cut the top and have whatever I am going to put in here go through the top. And for this one, the other pocket I made, I did the thumb grab was circular. This one I'm going to use my envelope tool, and I'm going to use that instead to make a notch, because I think that's kind of cool looking. And then I need to close this, especially since right here it's open, so I'm going to just put a dab of glue on here so that whatever I put inside doesn't go flopping around. And I think I will put some washi tape on here, and I'm going to use a wider one. I think I'm going to use this size. For this journal, it was much harder for me, I should say, to curate the items I wanted to go inside, because, you know, with a woodland journal, you've got your plants, your flowers, your little animals, and, you know, if you're doing, you know, Sherlock Holmes like the last one I did, there are, you know, such iconic things that are associated with Sherlock Holmes. But with Frankenstein's monster in particular, his image and personality have been so distorted by the movies that it's very hard to find things that really go with the book. But lots of book pages, that's for sure. Because the creature was a reader. Let's see. This is some Lord Byron, poetry from Lord Byron, who, of course, Byron was best friends with Mary Shelley's husband, Percy, and the three of them were on vacation together and had a contest, which turned into Frankenstein. So I have some Byron poetry that I could include, or one of the creature learned to read and think. He learned to think by reading. He learned to read when he found 3 books in the forest, and this is a page from one of those books. The Sorrows of Werther, or Werther auf Deutsch. And so this is in German. Like I said, I've kind of wanted to keep as much of my ephemera kind of accurate to the book. So I think I will put this on here. I've also been including flowers and things. The creature was kind of elemental, especially before he learned to read and write and think. And let's see, what else could go? Those are right. Let's see, what else do I have? Should have a little bit of music. The creature liked music and would sit outside of a house in the woods, and the family played music at night, and he loved to listen to the music, so maybe a little music there. I did print off some Alpen flowers and things, but I don't know, my printer, even though it's not telling me I'm almost out of ink, is kind of printing like I'm almost out of some color. Pink maybe, magenta. So I don't know, maybe I could put one of these on the front. That, keeping it simple. And let's see, these are from Mrs. Cog, and they're what, Alpen bookmark tags or something similar to that. And they're lovely, just little cards, and they come in different sizes, but they're all tall and skinny. And let's see. I think I'm going to use this one. I think that's really pretty. Around my corners. And ink my edges. a good day for crafting here today. It's overcast, kind of cold. Yesterday it was, like 72, 73 degrees outside. Sun was shining, a little breezy, but just a beautiful day. And then this morning it's, well, this afternoon now, but it's like 40 something degrees and there's no sun, and it's kind of like fall is actually here. Thankfully, fall is here. Fall's my favorite season. Let's see. Should I add some textile? Maybe a little bit of cheesecloth, maybe. I've been using a fair amount of cheesecloth in this journal as well. It seemed just to fit with kind of the age that I'm really trying to make this aged and fitting with the creature's aesthetic. I don't know, when I use cheesecloth, I try to keep it tucked under something because I don't like to be able to see the glue through it, because the glue is always shiny. So when I glue it down, I try to make sure that it's under something. I kind of like that, just over the top of that. So, and what I'm going to do is not glue this to the envelope yet. I'm going to glue this down here, and then I'm going to sew around it and then glue it to the envelope. Because of course you can't sew it to the envelope because directly to the envelope, because then you can't use it. You can't use it. You can't open it up. Normally I probably would have put the flower on the top and tucked the, done it this way with the text underneath, but I'm trying not to let it get too feminine. So I want the flowers, I want a little bit of the color, but I don't want it to be too flowery. And I do have like cards with nothing but flowers on them in other places, but kind of trying to keep that aesthetic. So I'll sew that on there. Sew that up as soon as that dries. Yeah, the FedEx guy just delivered my package. I have no idea where he's been for the last 20 minutes. Let's see. I think I'm going to go ahead and sew a couple things and then see where we're going to go from here. I know we haven't made, or I haven't made a lot. Maybe while you're crafting at home, you've gotten a lot more done than I have. But it's 40 minutes already, and I don't like to keep you too long. So, especially when it's not a tutorial. So I'm going to do some sewing, and I'll be right back and kind of see where we are in this process. All right, so what I did on this card, I just did a line going up, and I didn't do anything elaborate. Same thing on the pocket, I just sewed it directly onto the page and did some wonky stitching across the middle, and then it's not enough, it's missing something. And I have another quote from the book, it's just small, and I thought I would put that right on here. And just another small layer of something. And I have quite a few quotes left from that I typed up using different fonts, but all the fonts are kind of old-fashioned and calligraphic. And pretty much, I think all of the quotes that I took from the book are from the creatures, are things the creature said. I wanted to make sure to keep my theme. And Frankenstein's one of my favorite books, and the movies have kind of done a disservice to the character of the creature. So this one says, "Beware, for I am fearless and therefore powerful." It's a little ominous. So, like I said, we haven't done a lot this, I don't know why, I'm indecisive when I'm on camera. But just the pocket and the card, I think that turned out well. The other page we did was we're just adding another quote, and maybe I'll put the flip on here. I also had this tag that I had made before I turned the camera on, and this coffee stained tag made out of manila cardstock, just with some book page and some paper, a little antique lace on there, and so I sewed that up while I had the sewing machine out. And so this I think I'm going to put here, and then it will flip open this way. And so on here I just, oops, I see a little glue smut. Let's see if I can get that off. I have this glue eraser. If you don't have a glue eraser yet, I highly recommend it. They're inexpensive, a couple of dollars on Amazon, and they are made for this purpose. So I keep one of those handy all the time. Okay, that looks good. And I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. And I'm going to glue the whole thing down. I'm not going to leave it open and make another extra pocket. Since I will make some kind of a pocket and tag to put underneath the envelope. You know, it looks like I'm putting a lot of glue on here. It's really not that much. The bottle is a little clogged. It's getting a little old. Well, as old as my glue gets. I go through glue pretty fast. I think this needs a little bit more grunging. And then I'm going to put it on here. I'm going to put it pretty close to the edge so that when it flips open, it is unimpeded by the paper. move that down really well. I'll put something on here to cover this up. Maybe a side tuck. I haven't made one of those yet. And then some kind of a card to go inside. And then I'm getting close to being finished with the third signature. Just a few pages left. And I think really that's all we have time for today. Thank you for joining me. I know this was not exciting because, nothing, no new tutorials today or anything, but a perfect day for crafting, and I was hoping that you would join me for 45 minutes or an hour of work time. So I hope you got something made and maybe were inspired by something I made, and look for the full flip through of my Frankenstein journal in the next couple of days. I have to have at least the part I'm being graded on finished by and uploaded on Monday. So I hope to have the whole thing finished by tomorrow night, by Sunday night, so that Monday I don't have to be stressed about it. So anyway, have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and thank you for joining me today. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We really appreciate our subscribers, and a positive comment is always appreciated. And if you are looking for Christmas presents, you can find some stuff, some great stuff in our shop on Etsy. And if not, you're making all your presents this year. Good luck, and share your creations with us on Facebook. We'd appreciate seeing what you're making. So thanks, everybody. Have a fantastic weekend. Bye-bye.